Okay, you know I'd have to chime in on this at some point here. Now, full disclosure, it appears that this is not a legitimate post. No, somebody faked that this is a fake post. In other words, it does not necessarily come from the writers of Discovery. It's not. It's supposedly from the Star Trek Discovery Facebook group. But even then, they say in the description of there it says this is to praise and then not to denigrate any other show. And so this it appears to have been faked, but the attitude does exist, if not in the writers' room, certainly within the fans of this new branch of Star Trek. So I think it does need to be addressed. Let's take a look at this thing here. And probably the reason why they crossed out part of it there is they didn't want anything tracking back to, this is fake. All right. We have short seasons now for several reasons. One, quality writing isn't a rush job. 20 plus seasons is factory TV. It was never art. It wasn't really a rush job then, and they didn't do 20 seasons in a shot, okay? You had 3 seasons back in the 60s. You had like a 10-year gap there, just between that, between the second, almost 10 years between the end of the series, end of the first season, first series, and the movies. In between, you had the animated series in the early 70s, and a lot of them the same writers because there was a writer strike going on. But working on animated shows didn't count, so they could get some work that way. So that's how they got a lot of the same people back. And it's just so ignorant, though. It's like modern shows are written by professional authors, where older TV was written by teams of staff who wrote many shows to fit. Bull! That is so utterly ignorant, not only of Star Trek, but of TV in general back then. Star Trek didn't have a writing staff. You had some producers, like Dorothy Fontana was, script editor, really. And she started off as Roddenberry's secretary, even though she'd already had like 8 sales by that point. Gene Coon was a writing producer, okay? And Roddenberry still got some stories in there too. Other than that, they were all freelancers and professional authors, Hugo Award-winning authors. These guys had enough Hugos lined up. It looked like you put them all together, it looked like a missile barrage ready to go off. Okay, a lot of those little silver rockets lined up there. Jerome Bixby, Harlan Ellison. He was one of the first people to sign on. Now, the story of how that episode finally saw the air is a tale in itself. But, noted science fiction writers, award-winning science fiction novelists, and short story and everything were brought into. They tried to get Ray Bradbury. They were not shooting for hack writers from the Phil Silver show. They, and even then. Back then, that was where they realized TVs are expensive, so we got to shoot a little higher. It was a lot of the older television still holds up today because they figured they're dealing with a more intelligent clientele. It's when you start getting to that phase where TVs got cheap and they figured the audience are morons. That's going to start getting the hack writers and staff and everything else. Star Trek was not in that. Star Trek was trying to harken back to an earlier era when television aimed a little higher. Like I said, the motto around there is an intelligent life form on the other side of that television tube. They rejected the premise that the television audience has an infantile mind. Unlike this moron who posted this thing, whoever it is. Modern Trek is serious. No space sabers and weird balls of fur. Yeah, this from the show. There's been tribbles all over New Trek. Okay. And space hippies. It was the '60s. You got to deal with the thing. Modern Trek is serious. Balance of Terror wasn't exactly a barrel of laughs. The Doomsday Machine was pretty damn serious, if I recall. A Private Little War did not end on a happy little yuck, okay? This is someone who hasn't even watched old Star Trek, okay? They have to fill schedules with. They don't have to fill schedules with fluff that really doesn't fit the general universe. Oh, like the mushroom drive fits the universe. Them shooting themselves 900 years in the future. That's not time travel. by accident? No, you idiot. Whoever wrote this is a moron. They know the word Star Trek. They never watched Star Trek. And Star Trek grew up. No, it didn't. It's gotten more infantile than ever. The science is laughably bad. They took some liberties with the old shows, but this didn't even try. Basic science isn't even followed in this show. Great miniseries of all our television were short and sharp. You starting to compare this to Roots or Rich Man, Poor Man? You are a moron. The model we all enjoy now. We are not following it very well, are you, Sparky? God. So this is the kind of ignorant crap. Why the fan base is divided? Because you have supposed fans like this, writing crap like this. And the thing is, to show you just how far faith of the fan base has gone, the people originally thought this was legit. They could actually see this coming out of the Discovery writers' room. Previous shows, they wouldn't. Nah, it's fake. No one on the show would have done that. No, but in this case, that sounds like them. There's your vote of no confidence. The fact that we actually believed this for a short time. And all the people crowd. Oh, it must be so popular. They renewed it. The way the model comes in. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they have shortened seasons, so that they could do seasons 4 and 5 at the same time. So when renewal time comes along, well, we already got season 5 in the can, so they're not really outlaying a whole lot more money. All right, fine. Here's a renewal, Jack. The only show that is really doing the homework and following is Lower Decks, and that's not a universal sell. I like it. I like I like little subversive humor in my thing. I can take a laugh at this thing. I've thought about a sitcom idea for Star Trek for years. But the difference is Mike McMahon knows Star Trek. He knows the rules. You don't have this fantasy roller coaster mind screw for a turbolift system. We've seen the turbolifts in the Cerritos. It's a regular tube, like every other ship of the fleet we've ever seen. Whenever we've had to look inside those tubes, and we have. It's only free. I don't know. It's just. I'm getting tired of these sanctimonious little twits. You need to get on, old man. Bite me, all right? Don't let the white beard fool you. I ain't that old, asshole. Okay. And you start slagging on professional writers, authors, highly acclaimed authors who contributed to the Star Trek, and as for most of those filler episodes, they did fill out the universe quite a bit. They didn't just focus on the crisis of the moment. Okay? A little weird, but yeah. I defy you, never show another triple again in Star Trek Discovery or anything. Let's see how far you get without throwing in the occasional member berry here and there. Yeah? Like I said, the only show that's even trying to stay true to Star Trek these days is Lower Decks. And that one, it's an acquired taste. I'll give it that much. I'll give the detractors that much. You got to kind of get into it, okay? It's not an automatic sell. And the thing is, that's the one show that really is catering to the hardcore old-time fan base. The newbies just don't get it because they see the stuff and they know what the hell it is. They don't know where to go with it. Prodigy seems to be with some of the technology of the show, and there appears to be going all things to all people. They're trying to do the Revell Enterprise model from years back, where they tried to incorporate aspects of every version of the Enterprise. The 11-foot, the 3-foot, the animated one, and it's kind of a mishmash. There's things that are seriously off on that model, because then all the things match, okay? That's where Discovery, that's where Prodigy is going, appears. I'm going to get back into catching up on that one. Discovery, it's going to be quite a bit, and probably a little something more in this than just Coke, okay, to get me to watch the rest of Discovery. So because I've been hearing the recaps on this, and it's getting stupider and stupider. Not just in the science, but in the character's behavior. It's like, who acts like this? It's just, it's beyond, let's say, just adherence to canon, adherence to credibility. And this is supposedly grown up by a bunch of writers who were refugees from the CW, which is on the auction block nowadays because it's failing so badly. A bunch of failed wannabe soap opera writers are going to lecture us about how to write science fiction. I don't think so. I mean, there's still a few writers in those days that are still around, okay? They haven't all died off, asshole, okay? Anyone wants to try and portray these guys and Dorothy Fontana and Gene Kuhn as hacks? Harlan Ellis as a hack. He would rise up from the grave and stomp your lungs out just for even inferring that, okay? Now, Ronberg is real close friends with Isaac Asimov. I'm sure somewhere in the I'm sure Gene, you want to write one? And I think by then I could realize, this isn't my kind of show. I tried space opera once. It's not me. You're doing a very good job. And, and he pointed out a few things. Because when they had a dispute over, Nimoy and Shatner gave the most time, and it's like, how to handle the Kirk and Spock issue. And it's like, no, right, Spock is that popular? Make sure that Spock is very dedicated to being Kirk's number one and not taken over, because that will reflect back on Kirk, and that'll probably end. So it's a win-win in that situation. And he fought it, and it worked, and stuff like that. And even through the movies, and it's just and again, the staff at JPL and at NASA, I'd say in excess of 90% of them are there because of Star Trek, old Star Trek. Old, supposedly mass-produced crap Star Trek, asshole. I don't see Discovery or Stranger Worlds inspiring anybody to pursue a career in science just because you're not even following the bloody science. So yeah, we should be thankful this post does appear to be fake. Because again, I looked on and I couldn't find it on the Facebook thing. I think it is a fake post, but the attitude is not. It's out there. The fact that this thing was posted in the first place proves it. There are people who do think this way. And I don't want to hear like a gatekeeper, but we don't need people like that in fandom. They're the ones who are gatekeeping, trying to drive old fogies like us out. Okay. Figure we've outlived our useless. Oh, really? There's a reason why Discovery and other ones are not being included in the new concordance. They don't fit. There's no way to make them fit. It has to be in a whole new book all by itself. Somebody else can write that. Thank you very much. Okay. I can make a half a case for lower decks on there, although because they're so rapid, it'll merit a paragraph. Maybe a list. Look for these episodes, but I'm not going to go through recaps. But yeah, this is the kind of crap we're having to deal with on pretty much a daily basis. And as far as the renewals and stuff, they've already renewed Strange New Worlds for season 2. They haven't even premiered the damn show yet. What's that tell you? They don't give a rip. They don't care if it's Pike #1 and Spock sitting on the bridge farting the alphabet. They just need content for their service. It's like when you renew a show for multiple seasons, sight unseen, there's something else going on. Because you're not basing it on anything. There's no viewership numbers to base it on. Nobody's seen it yet. The old rules are gone now with the streaming services because they hide the audience numbers. They're spending way too much money. I think that's another thing of why they renewed Discovery for a 5th season, to justify the outrageous cost. Where they can finally settle down, not change the sets and the uniforms, immortalize it. That's all shows, all the Star Trek shows especially, have started off enormous costs to build everything. Gene was showing Bezo Trimble the Next Generation bridge when they just finished it up, and he told for the cost of this one set, oh, what a season of the original show I could have done. So they top load us, and then you stretch it, and that's why you got a lot of bottle shows. on these shows, on these types of shows, where they don't have any added expense on it. It's just your regular cast and your existing sets and stock footage of the flybys, though. You might redress one or two sets or something different, you know. It's like the Doomsday Machine. That was essentially a bottle show. You just, dirty up your standing sets. You go down, you send somebody down to Sears to get an Enterprise model for about $1.50. Bring it in, hit it with a blowtorch a couple times, rearrange the decals, boom, here's the other ship. And there was a photo we did on Trek BBS before they turned into a bunch of fascist pigs. We did a little thing trying to do a little photo analysis of just what was the Doomsday Machine itself made out of. Because we did not buy the line that, it was a windsock dipped in cement. That didn't make sense. And it really wasn't. It was just Roddenberry and Norman Spinrad having an exchange. I think that's what it needed. It looks, the best that we figured was you had a stage light with a little weird little, distortion filter. It's a little spinning, kind of to make the weird effect, little on the spinner thing. Wrapped in, frankly, it looks like aluminum foil on a wire frame type of thing with some blue gel material wrapped around it. And that's probably why there's those pictures you see of it on the blue screens. No, that's fake. That's someone doctored that image. Because frankly, it looks like they went back to filming on a black background, because sometimes you see some stars seen through it. And also, why you don't see a very stock movements or anything. You had to move the camera, because I think that thing would have bent in half if you tried moving it. But that's what I think we figured. It's just some rings, probably even coating, whatever cheap thing they get. Just wrap some ring, use it as a frame, wrap some foil around it, wrap some blue gel, wrap the thing. You have a light inside. There's your Doomsday Machine. You have to crinkle it up in the front. These twits who put this crap out, though, it's like, are you the type that don't like the original show because it's too talky? They're talking about things you just don't understand. Where's the pew pew? Go over there with JJ, okay, and his crap. That's where this mainly started. When they stopped doing, his big thing was, it's too talky, and no one did anything. It's like, that's called writing, you moron. Yeah. But yeah, this crap needs to end. Okay. These so-called fans need to pull their collective heads out of their asses, and maybe actually watch the show. Watch the old show you're bitching about, because you clearly haven't. Clearly, the writers of Picard haven't bothered to watch anything on, because you have the whole first season based on Measure of Man, and they obviously never watched it. They read the blurb on Netflix of Data's gonna be. No, he wasn't. The end of that episode put down some legal findings that would have made Star Trek Picard impossible. And the thing is, it wasn't just a one-off. The things stated in that episode came up a few times afterwards. Like when Data built a daughter. Yes, he had a daughter before What's-Her-Face showed up. I bet you, what about Lau? Who's Lau? Yeah, that's the response you'd have gotten in the Picard writers' room. They brought us Admiral, and they because the Data has rights. I helped ensure them. And then later on in Voyager, even when the Doctor is trying to secure status for himself, they reference back to Data's case. Like say what you want Voyager, but they knew they were still in the Star Trek universe, even on the other side of the galaxy. So that whole photons be free thing, trying to extend the rights of synthetic means to holograms. the Doctor wasn't the first sentient hologram. It was still Moriarty. We're not sure what happened to Moriarty after the Enterprise D crashed. Did Reg keep that little cube in his quarters? I don't know. Who knows? I know he's still wandering the galaxy with Miss What's-Her-Face in his shuttlecraft and having all kinds of fun times. I like to think they would update that holo program from time to time so they're kept up on current events. But now it's starting to wander off here, so yeah. Anyone who thinks that the original show was a hack job by staff writers is sadly misinformed and should be swatted upside head with a 2x4. And we'll talk at you later.